Welcome to my crab. Or is it crib? Crib. So today we're gonna make a video in which I write an entire story in one day that we will publish on NOSLEEEP at the end of the video, which is also going to be at the end of this day. Okay, so we are starting from the beginning, the very beginning, and I have to do my routines, which is watering my terrariums and my isopods, which live in my terrarium. Very small kind of bug that lives in there. So I have that, and then we have this one, and also this is a very good book by Michael Crichton, which also wrote Jurassic Park, but this is swear. There's a movie based on this, which I saw when I was younger, and I liked it, and now I'm reading the book. So yeah, I can recommend that, but I only read like 2 chapters so far. So take it.
Yeah, I'm not reading that many books though, so I'm just reading your stuff. So.
You read my stuff? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not super good at English. Reading in English is like super important if you want to write in English.
Yeah, of course.
I think my isopods are actually escaping because they're climbing up this plant, and at one time I was lying in my bed, and then suddenly an isopod just plopped down on the bed, and I was like, where did you come from? To get from my terrarium to my bed, it has to first climb up the terrarium and then climb up the entire bed. And it's amazing how it survived that journey, because it's very dry in the room, and isopods can't really survive in dry environments. Anyway, so I could put that one back. But another time, actually, this is a fun little story. So I bought a little cactus, a tiny cactus, as a gift for my girlfriend. And just for a day, I put the cactus in my bookshelf. Actually, I want to show you this. This is very important. So just for a day, I put the tiny cactus here, like next to the terrarium, okay? And just for one day. And then, the day after that, there was an isopod pierced on the thorns of the cactus. So that poor little guy had finally escaped and fell over just exactly where I put the cactus, and it was just instantly killed. And that was like, imagine how much bad luck you have to go out that way, you know? Yeah, so, you know.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's a shame. And I don't like it when they die. I care a lot about them. They are the only pet I own, so to speak. Yeah. And we're done. So this is how I begin my days. And I want to make a little disclaimer. I mean, this is supposed to be kind of a documentary about how I write my stories, right? But there's one element that we can't show, and that is that I usually do everything naked. I mean, I wake up, I do all my routines, and then I write my stories in this room, and I just don't bother putting on any clothes. Now we are going to do it a bit more traditionally, or something.
Yeah, with clothes on.
With clothes on. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's get down to business, okay?
Yeah.
Business of today. So, what are we gonna do? We're gonna write a story from the absolute beginning. We have no idea what we're gonna write. At this point, we're gonna discuss that, we're gonna come up with a good idea. And the goal is to get as many upvotes on Reddit as possible. The aim of today could be a fun challenge. And I challenge you to do the same thing, and then we can compare. No, I don't actually do that. I don't know why I said that. To get as many upvotes as possible, we're going to look at a few stories that has gotten a lot of upvotes, and then we're going to take some inspiration from those stories. Now, for you who don't know, NOSLEEEP is a forum on Reddit where people post believable, i.e. totally unbelievable, stories, horror stories, so scary stories. And if you don't, so I recommend actually, well, we don't need to talk about that now, by the way. Okay, so let's look at some popular stories. I think we can talk about the 2 most upvoted stories. Okay, so here we go. I have actually already read these stories, so we don't need to read them now. But the most upvoted story, and it's still being upvoted quite a lot, it's at 37,000 upvotes, which is a huge amount given the average on this subreddit. I think most top stories is about 10,000 upvotes.
What's the most that you got?
10,000 upvotes. And the second one is 26,000. Anyway, the first one is written by a user who is called something I can't really pronounce.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, very good name for marketing. I can't even say. This story is called "My Sugar Daddy Asks Me for Weird Favors." Why would this title be popular? Well, maybe it's because it hints at the sexual content. You know what they say, sex sells. Maybe that draws some attention. It's basically about a girl on Tinder who is searching for a sugar daddy, a very common phenomenon apparently. It's a kind of low-key prostitution, I guess. Anyway, so it's about this girl who's on Tinder looking for a sugar daddy, and she finds one, and he starts to ask her for weird favors, which is non-sexual. She has to deliver a package to a house, and then she gets asked to guard that house during a night, and she has to follow a specific number of rules, which is also kind of a trend on NOSLEEEP. It was a trend, at least when this story was published. It was a trend to write stories about following rules, and I think it's still a pretty popular trend. Yeah, so unsurprisingly, she forgets one of the rules. In the morning, the guy who she has been in contact with come to the house and have breakfast with her. This is at the end. And then everything seems to be nice. But when she comes home, she remembers that she forgot the rule, and the sugar daddy or whatever is sending her a message, and he doesn't know anything about the breakfast. Apparently that wasn't him, that was some kind of weird copy of him. And that's the twist. It wasn't him. I really don't know why this story is so popular. So let's look at the other one here, which is called She Sold Happiness in Glass Jars, and this is what I would call a wholesome story. It's about a guy who decides to respond to someone claiming to be selling happiness in jars. He gets a jar, and suddenly his life turns upside down, and then he gets told to throw the jar into the ground, and then he gets everything back. And so that makes him realize that, oh, what I already had was what I actually needed.
Could you maybe combine these two themes of these two stories?
Interesting idea. I mean, both wholesome and sexual.
Imagine this, like a guy has a girlfriend, and they're going to do something half sexy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
so that's the sexy part, that a hint at something sexy. But he kind of wishes for another girlfriend who might be even more sexy or something. And then he gets that, but that's like a demon or something.
Okay, so
and then he needs to get his original girlfriend back. Because he needs to follow some rules or something.
Rules, yeah. But I don't know if I'm gonna play with that, because it's an old trend. I think it has kind of played out this rule.
Aren't there any new trends now?
Not as far as I know.
Should we go out?
It's not that scary, it's more like a bad rom-com, you know? How is it scary? I know, it's like...
No, what do you mean? This other girl could be super scary.
She's a monster.
Yeah, she's a monster.
I actually have some ideas about that, like finding, like, matching with a monster on Tinder.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, have that been written already? I mean, it seems not so original, but like, you match with
Does it need to be original? Is this Sugar Daddy story original? I mean, the goal here wasn't to write a good story, it's to get a lot of upvotes.
But I still think, like, okay, originality, I mean, nothing is original.
Should we go out and discuss this further?
Yeah, we can actually go for a walk and then bring the computer, right? So we can sit down and write the damn thing.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. And it's itching, so it can't itch that eye.
You hint at something sexy.
Okay, yeah.
You make
sex,
sexual, but it doesn't have to be about sex.
I'm not gonna write sex, you know. Yes, okay. You know, but I can absolutely, you know, play with the
play around, around and walk around it.
Yeah. And then it's going to be wholesome at the end.
Wholesome at the end. That's two kind of
kind of short.
And short, yeah. That one is obvious. I will try to keep it short, but I usually have a problem doing that because when I start writing, it just tends to just flow like a waterfall, and I just write a lot. But I will try to keep it short. So what do you think about this title? I am a prostitute, and my latest John asked me to do something strange. Obviously I might choose different words when I actually write the title, but something like that. What do you think about that?
That kind of mimics the Sugar Daddy story.
Yeah, I'm kind of inspired by the Sugar Daddy story, but I'm taking it up a notch. So it's not a Sugar Daddy, it's a actual prostitute, and she has a customer, or whatever you want to call them, who is asking her to do something out of the ordinary. And that is the basic premise of the story. And I'm gonna try to write it as short as possible and make it wholesome. So we have both the naughty part and we have the wholesome part.
Cool.
Quite a strange combination, and I will see if I can pull it off. That's basically it. Those two looked exactly the same, that couple. Like the guy was extremely similar to the woman. I mean, their faces was like identical.
Cool. Yeah. Is this the cafe that you thought we were going to go to?
Yes, we are going to Cafe Nero. And it's so funny because Nero was a very evil man a very evil Roman emperor. He killed a lot of people. And naming a cafe after such an evil man is kind of funny because, it hints at a kind of moral erosion over time. You don't see Cafe Stalin. But maybe in 200 years, maybe in 1000 years, you will see Cafe Hitler, But now we have to do with the Cafe Nero. How long have I been writing?
I don't know, a couple of hours.
A couple of hours?
Yeah,
okay,
I think so. Maybe 2 hours. Or...
2 hours. Okay, then I'm writing not as fast as I would have hoped. I've written 1,000 words at this point. So I should have been able to write 2,000 words, but it's always difficult when you have to come up with the ideas at the same time. If I had planned a story for a longer time, if I had come up with all the ideas before I started writing, then I would have been able to write, I think, 2,000 words by now. But I've come to a point in the story where things are starting to heat up and get more interesting. So maybe from now on it will take less time to write the rest. Okay, so we need a change of environment. I have peed, which means that I'm ready to start to work again, and I also probably need to eat some dinner. And what other place to do that than McDonald's? I mean, you can't really write when you haven't met your basic needs. So, it's important to go to the bathroom. Sometimes I forget to do that. I've been like that all my life. I just work, and I realized that I haven't been to the bathroom in 8 hours. And that's not so good, I think. There was a guy, an astronomer called Tycho Brahe, and he was at a dinner with the king, and he just couldn't go to the bathroom because it was so, he didn't want to be unpolite, and his bladder burst like this, and he died. So I'm always thinking about that when I sit and write and I don't go to the bathroom. Anyway, that's just a good writing tip. You don't hear that a lot, when you listen to writing tips. You don't hear them say go to the bathroom and stuff. That is really important. the basic stuff. Where's the ketchup? Oh, this is mine, right?
Hade jag köpt som tåg.
Supposed to be taking care of Amna and Julia.
Okay, so I'm done. I'm finally done. So I don't really...
According to the timeline, right?
No, not quite. I mean, we didn't have a timeline exactly, but we did have a word count, but I will come to that. Give or take 6 hours of effective writing. And I was supposed to write about 2,000 words. And I kind of accidentally wrote 5,000 words. So it's over 5,000. So that idea we had about writing a short story, it didn't really work out. And now we have a story which is 5,000 words. And that might be to our disadvantage, I guess. But it was very fun to write, and it was extremely intense. I mean, wow, it was like... I didn't even, notice the time fly by.
Did you go to the bathroom?
One time. I was at the bathroom one time.
I know.
Yes, you were there, not in the bathroom, but you were with me. Anyway, now we are going back to my place, and I will edit this a little bit. Martin will read it and give me some comments, and
Yeah, we'll see about that, if I'm too tired or not.
okay, but I will do some edits, and after that we will publish it on NOSLEEEP. Well, that was a very intense period of writing, and someone should go through the text and spell check and everything. I will run it through automatic spell checker. Okay, 93 hours. Okay, good. Let's go.
That's not so bad.
No, I know. So it's bad. I had over 100 once, so. Correctness. My life fell apart. Okay, that was a very stupid error. Recognize is they. I watched myself fall down. No, I don't want to move that. Comma. The custom. Well.
Okay, you look tired.
Oh yes, I'm very tired because we have spent the entire day doing this, and
yes, I want to add, I've spent the entire day editing this video as well, so I haven't just been lazy.
Exactly.
I just want to...
It's just too bad we didn't have a guy filming you making this video in one day.
That would have been too meta.
Yeah, it's always a gamble, when you publish a story on NOSLEEEP. It might flop, it might be very successful. It's
going to get 36,000 upvotes in the end.
No, it's too long for that. It was too long. It became too long to reach those kind of levels. Now it's 5,000 words. It's nothing you can read in a coffee break. It's nothing you can read during lunch. It's like you have to commit to this story when you read it. I haven't been able to read it. So, I feel genuinely scared because I know that there's probably some errors in here, but I can't do anything about it. The link is there, the entire text is there, and the title is in order. So, with no further ado, I will press post. Okay, you want to count down to from 3?
Just press the button.
Okay, I'm pressing it. Fuck.
It's on NoSleep, yes. Sometimes I'm afraid I forget to publish it to the right subreddit, but it's on the right subreddit. The title is there.
Cool.
Oh my god!
They just closed the browser and...
Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna go to Reddit until this entire video has been done.
That's the biggest challenge of this.
Yeah, the biggest challenge is to keep visiting Reddit. And I would probably, as by mistake, press the R button and enter, you know? Like R enter, that's in the browser, you know, and I would end up there and I see like... I guess we can kind of finish on that note for today, and then we will return on Monday and see how it went. Am I going to be disappointed? Am I going to be happy? Am I going to be like, I don't know. For me, it will be quite a while until I get results. But for you, it's going to be like 1 second after Martin here decides to cut me off. Are we running? It's time to check how many upvotes this story got. What I think now is that I will have about, and you can guess as well, I guess. But my estimate is 100 upvotes.
Oh no, I think you have more.
You think?
You have like around 1,000 upvotes.
Really? Well, that,
Yeah.
I would count that as a success.
No, not when it comes to writing the most popular story.
No, if the goal is to write the most popular story, 1,000 upvotes is not a success. But personally, I think if you hit 1,000, that is a success. I mean, imagine 1,000 people in a room, and all of them like your story. That would be kind of cool, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, shall we shake? Okay. I am a little bit shaken up. No, shaken up. I'm a little bit nervous. It has... Fuck! It's so much better than I thought. It has 4,000 upvotes. It's amazing. I couldn't possibly imagine that. Actually, it has 4,100 upvotes.
Nice.
It has 130 comments. I mean, I'm flabbergasted. I am mind blown. Like,
Yeah, this is pretty good actually.
it's definitely one of my most successful stories
Ever.
in a long time. Oh, it has awards! Whoa, it has awards! Look, it has 1 gold and 10 silver awards. This is making my day. This has made my day. I mean, yeah, it didn't reach 30,000 upvotes, but we never thought it would, and it's, you know, that would be ridiculous. But this is so much better than I thought. And just remember, I didn't even read the story before I published it, so it's kind of...
And what does this teach you? It's that you don't really have to read your own stories. You just publish them and go
Well,
on.
who knows? Maybe it would have gotten 30,000 if I did read the story and edit it a little bit. You know, you don't know. I can't go back in time and check. It would be fun if I could.
Yeah.
You know, but... well, shall we check a few of the comments?
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, whoa, wow, I don't know how to pronounce it. But wow. I just got chills from this. Oh, fuck me. I'm assuming you and your son were transported to a dimension where the Neo-Babylon Empire never dissolved. Also, Whore of Babylon, lol. So that's a funny historical reference that I didn't even think about. It didn't get 30,000 upvotes, but I will call this a success.